Hi, I'm Professor Jay Zagorsky, and in this video we're going to go through the definitions used by governments around the world to classify people as employed and unemployed. Why should you care? The news often makes a big deal about the changes in employment and unemployment, and after watching this video you'll understand exactly what the news is talking about. One important point about these definitions is that most countries in the world use them, so it doesn't matter where you're watching these videos. It also means that employment and unemployment numbers from one country are directly comparable to the next. The definitions are overseen by a branch of the United Nations called the International Labor Organization, or ILO for short. The ILO definitions classify adults into one of three categories: employed, unemployed, or not in the labor force. Before I give you the official definitions, how do you think you're classified? Do you think you're employed, unemployed, or not in the labor force? Don't worry if you don't have a clue. Governments following the ILO randomly survey households to create their unemployment statistics, and even after being interviewed, most people are unsure of their own classification. Let's break the three groups down simply. Who are the employed? Employed people are adults who do at least one of the following four things. First, they did any work for pay. There's no minimum amount of time needed to be classified as working. Where I live, there are a few squeegee men. They're people who stand at a traffic light and wash a car's front window when it stops at a red light. If even one driver pays a squeegee man that week, by the official definition, they're considered employed. Second, an employed person is anyone who's working for themselves and trying to make a profit. We often call these people the self-employed. The definition's key part is the word try. It doesn't matter if they suffer a loss or just break even. Intent is all that matters. For example, I'm making economic videos to sell more textbooks. It doesn't matter if I make or lose money. The government considers me employed because my intent is to make a profit. Third, the employed is any person working unpaid in a family business. The key word is unpaid. This covers many people who are working in places like restaurants or laundries where the whole family helps out. In my house, I'm just expected to help out with the laundry for no pay. But no matter how many hours I spend, I'll never be considered employed because in my house, it's not a business and I do a really bad job with the laundry. In the US, people working in family businesses have to work 15 hours a week or more to be considered employed. In other countries like Japan, you only have to work 1 hour to be considered employed by this definition. Fourth, the employed is any person who had a job but did not go to work. Examples of individuals in this category are workers on vacation, out because they're having a baby, kept home by bad weather, or if they're sick. Looks like I'm healthy. I guess I have to go back to work. There are no time limits on these reasons. As long as a worker has a job they'll go back to when the temporary situation goes away, they're counted as employed. What surprises most viewers is that the employed are not just office or factory workers in 9-to-5 jobs. Lots of other people fall into the employment definition too. The definition for unemployed adults is much shorter. We start with everyone who's not employed, and then we check for two things. First, are they currently available for work? This means if offered a job, you can start immediately. Second, you need to have recently looked for work. If you're available and have searched, you're considered unemployed. Looking for work can be a very formal activity, such as using a professional recruitment agency or sending out polished resumes. However, it can also be very casual, asking friends or relatives if they know of any job openings, asking passing by construction trucks if they need help on a job site, or just going to the local bar and asking if they need help behind the counter. That all counts as searching. One other group who are considered unemployed are people who are laid off and waiting to be called back to their old jobs. There's no time limit on how long people can be laid off. For example, ski instructors are laid off at the end of winter and are usually confident that they'll be rehired next year. However, during the warmer seasons, they're considered unemployed if they're not doing anything besides waiting for the next snow to fall. The final group are people who are not in the labor force. It's the easiest category. It contains all the adults in the country who are neither employed nor unemployed. Examples of people in this group are students, retirees, and stay-at-home parents. The definition of who's employed and unemployed is quite complex and has caused many people to ask if it measures the problem correctly. For example, How do we classify people who work part-time? Some people choose to work part-time either because of time constraints or poor health. However, there are many part-time workers who want full-time jobs, but jobs with more hours just aren't available. These people represent unused labor, just like a job searcher who has no work at all. Shifting the definition to include time work dramatically increases unemployment rates. For example, in 2014, the U.S. had roughly 10 million people unemployed each month. At the same time, roughly 7 million people were working part-time jobs and actually wanted full-time work. Including the part-timers would almost double the unemployment rate. Should these involuntarily part-time workers be classified as unemployed or left as employed? This is a hard question to answer, and it's one reason why your personal experience might not match the official employment and unemployment numbers. In conclusion, if you ask the average person who hasn't watched this video to classify a group of people into employed, unemployed, and not in the labor force categories, they would probably group people very differently than the government or the ILO would. Take yourself as an example. Has your own self-classification changed after watching this video? The key takeaway is that the employed are not just individuals in steady 9-to-5 office jobs, and the unemployed are more than just people who are out of work. Be sure to check out my next video where we'll go beyond these simple definitions and look at the actual labor market data. Thanks for watching and have a great day.